Can we just do small things to improve our lives? That's what we're going to talk about today. Hi, this is Jill from the North Woods, talking about how to make our life better, one small step at a time. I read a book and did a podcast about it, and in some of the cases, I'm bringing back some of the podcasts that stuck with me, like the Ikigai one. That, since the time I did that podcast, is just really melded with my brain. And so now that I'm doing YouTube, I'm bringing some of those back and then talking about them, a couple years revisited after I sort of incorporated into my being. And this next book, it was a smaller book, but it was by Dr. Rangan Chatterjee, and it's called Feel Better in 5, Your Daily Plan to Feel Great for Life. This book I thought was great, and the idea was the concept of health snacks. Had frustrations. And this is what he was seeing, is that people were overwhelmed by the information they were getting about their health. People didn't have time to do some of the health things that they were supposed to do, like a 45-minute workout. And parents were juggling multiple jobs. And people were stressed out, and I understand that frustration. Doctors say all the time, hey, you should do this. And half the time, probably less than half the time, the patient's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Or, okay, doc. And then they never, ever do it. And then, go back for the next health checkup and nothing has changed. And what he felt is that they had to have small wins in their lives, that they had to do something that would fit in their lives. And I think that's why this book stuck with me. It's right in there with the small steps idea. So the book is around kind of 3 different systems when it comes to health in general. But you could take this idea and adopt it for all sorts of different things. And if you think of it, I think he connects the things that your health is your mind, your diet, and exercise. And if you expand these into an interconnected system, now you can build a way of getting things done in your life without just being this overarching, gigantic cloud. Health that is just hard to do and hard to imagine and hard to tackle down. What is it I'm supposed to do? So let's take a look at the mind system. You can do small different things that can improve your stress, improve your focus, improve your mental calm, and gain clarity throughout the day. And so the idea with these health snacks is that you do these small 5-minute, 10-minute things that will just give your health a boost. And so if we think about the mind, what are some of those things could be? 5-minute breathing patterns. If you have the Apple infrastructure, the watch and the phone, they have a breathing app. There are also, I've used Headspace. Fantastic. I like Headspace quite a bit. And you can think about journaling. You can think about maybe just doing nothing for 5 minutes. Close your eyes and just set a timer so you don't fall asleep. But, just give your brain a reset, or prayer or meditation, something like that, but a way that you can bring your mind back. And if you think about a body health system, now we're thinking about, and this would be the exercise, something that could just help your mobility, your strength, your circulation, or reduce some kinds of pain. So some examples that you might do would be some stretches. There's cat-cow. My trainer has us do a lot of them. But, one kind of a stretch that you could just do on the floor, on your carpet. They sell various straps so that you can, put it around your foot and do a better stretch out of them. Little mini mobility workflows, simple squats, wall sits, or maybe just going for a quick walk. I talked about in a couple episodes ago about how I wanted a deck on the back of my yard so that I could just do a quick round in my backyard so that I can get some fresh air, when I'm feeling particularly stressed. And that's a great place, to start. Or if you're thinking about something that would help your emotional system, think about something that you could do that would just help your heart emotionally. Connect with someone, chat with someone you haven't talked to in a while. Do something that's kind for someone else. Maybe you were always intending to donate to that charity. Spend 5 minutes and go do that. Maybe write down in a prayer journal what you're grateful for to God for. Or maybe look through some photographs that warm you right here. Sometimes people are really into listening to music that helps shift your mood. I tend to like to watch something that makes me laugh. I'm someone who's kind of like productive all day long. And sometimes if I just watch something that makes me laugh that has no other purpose, does the heart good. And he argues in his book, he talks about that loneliness and emotional depletion can affect our health almost as much as physical inactivity. So if you can do something that will help your emotional side of things. So you can see how this kind of goes into the three different directions. And that's going to be like mind, body, and then the emotion or the heart. I kind of misstated it before. But that's the idea. Using these concepts, you can take the smallest minimal impactful dose, right? So when you think about medication, right? What's the smallest dose you can take of something that produces a good in your life? And so for habits, if you can get into, like I said, something in one of these areas that would make your day better, make your moment or your afternoon better. And he's not asking for perfectionism, the ideal scenario. He just wants to bump your life off into a better trajectory at that moment. And that's kind of the small idea behind it. And like I said, it's really good. You get quick wins. It lowers your stress hormones. It improves. I was just watching a whole bunch of videos today about the vagus nerve. Apparently, my vagus nerve is all messed up in all sorts of ways. And I've been looking for ways of recalibrating my stress levels. I can tell I have an app called Welltory, and I can tell that I am way the heck stressed out. I think that has to do with medication I'm taking, but we'll find out within the next couple months. It can help you recalibrate your mood. It can help you just kind of give you just a breather there for a second, right? And so if you can add these little what they call health snacks, strangely enough, not related to snacking, but these small little things that you could do that would just stretch you out. You know, sometimes when I work, I get all wrapped up in work and then my back hurts a little bit. My shoulders hurt a little bit because I'm sitting there, typing at the keyboard all the time. The body one will help me out. The mind one, just getting my brain away. I have to think all the time. How am I going to tell this to this person? How am I going to talk to this? Oh, this is frustrating me. If I take a mind snack, now maybe I calm down a little bit. I got my stress levels down a little bit and I can tackle whatever it is I'm trying to do with a little better point of view. Or the emotion thing. Maybe I'm depressed or maybe I'm sad or maybe I've just been alone for a while. I work remotely now, full time. And the people at my work are great. I love them. I think that they're a fantastic team to be a part of. But in the end, I'm alone in my room all the time. What can I do to connect with people? And so I have a group of people that I consider my friends at work, and I just ask them how they're doing. Hey, how's it going? What'd you do this weekend? And just emotionally connect with someone. And these little bitty snacks make my day better and make it so that I can actually be more productive, less stressed out. And if you think about, stretching is lubricating the joints, right? Helping you break up some stiffness in there. Same thing with the mind, same thing with the body, same thing with the emotion. Those can wake up kind of crunched up pieces inside of you so that you move from being stuck to being capable of doing whatever your next thing is. The book itself emphasizes the idea that you change your identity faster with action. And when you get into these daily habits, no matter how small they are, you begin to think, hey, I'm someone who cares for my body. I'm someone who shows up with my mind. I'm someone who cares about the people around me. I'm someone who's improving my life every day. And the funny thing is I got that Tory app. And I can see now, you can't be 100% right, but I can see the things that stress me out and the things that relax me. And so I'm doing better with this feedback to understand my own kind of inner relationship with my brain and my body and an emotional state better. So the book itself is kind of nice. I like this, but I think what he does is he creates these recipes in his book. So you just don't have to do one of these things. He likes to pair some of these together. So he has like an anxiety recipe. So first you do some sort of a grounding exercise, like maybe you do stress or some squats, you get into a breathing pattern, and then you write down a quick worry journal. What's bugging you right now? Or an anger recipe. a quick movement break. Maybe I go walk around my backyard for a few minutes. I listen to some calming music, and then I just reframe my brain with some sort of an exercise. I'm a knitter. You can see all my knitting right back here. And so sometimes I can just knit a couple rows of my hat, which is under a few minutes, but it kind of relaxes me through there so that I can get my cool back again and then do that. What if you have back pain? What if you sit at your desk so much you have back pain issues? So you maybe will do 5 movements that can stretch out the back area. You think about what's one positive change that you could make in your work situation? So you think about, could I get a better chair? Could I get one of those? I'm about to do a guest. What did I do with that thing? A guest show about holiday gift guides. This is a Theragun exercise ball. So when my back gets all crunchy, I can throw it behind me, and it is USB-C charged. And then it vibrates. And so it is a massager for people who don't have someone to stand behind them with a gun and exercise thing. I bought that because my back gets crunchy when I'm working. And you might also try to attempt doing some breathing relaxation exercises. When it came to Headspace and some other apps that are out there, I believe Halo and Dwell and Calm all have these relaxation stories that just help you relax. And I also really enjoy watching YouTube. It's called quiet hiking. And it's really sounds like a weird thing to watch. But there's a guy named Herman Ho, and he just goes to places in the world I will never get to see because he's the bigger adventurer than I am. And he just hikes the Swiss Alps. And so I just take 10 minutes and I just watch him, walk some of the Swiss Alps. And it's really relaxing. He doesn't say a word. He doesn't talk about hiking. And there are a lot of nature kinds of videos out there on YouTube that I do just to sort of relax myself. In the end, these aren't cures. They're what you would call like circuit breakers, just a quick way to stop the cycle of whatever is that's happening. And like I said, his book gives a lot of examples about what you can do. I think that what I liked about the book is that Chatterjee calls out this all or none thinking, which I'm not into perfectionism. I don't think it's good for us. And he reminds people that if you miss a morning, do it at night. If you can't do all 3 snacks, do one of them. If you forgot yesterday, do one today. And perfection destroys momentum. These little snacks are easy enough to do and easy enough to do at quick times that you can't get them done. He talks, about a little bit about like having a morning 5-minute reset morning idea. So, and if you have this routine and you can write down what's bothering you, choose one action that might help, pick one reason why the issue you're thinking of might not be as bad as you think it is, and identify, how you've overcome similar things in the past, and then just list one possibility that could be a little bit better than what you're thinking in. The idea is that you want to keep going in these things, and you're going to take these quick breaks to just try to do something to improve that moment. You don't build your life necessarily on these gigantic leaps. You build them along the small, tiny habits you do every day of your life. And once you start building some of these into tiny habits, small habits, then, the harder things get easier to do because if you do 10 squats every afternoon, maybe you can do 10 squats and 10 leg lifts or something like that. You get better in. But this idea challenges going hard, extreme diets, these gigantic transformations, or going all in on it. He wants you to get into where you're addressing whatever is causing health problems in your life, like brushing your teeth. Automatic, low friction, easy to do. And in the end, to be human. And if you start, like I said, doing these small things, you will find yourself doing them. I started breathing routines. I'm a particularly bad breather for whatever reason. And I started doing deep breathing, box breathing exercises. And now it's almost automatic. If I'm having trouble sleeping, box breathing. If I'm stressed out, box breathing. I do it all the time. And it will become automatic that you start doing these things. My hip starts hurting, I do squats and lunges. Whatever reason that stretches out my hip a little bit so that I don't have as much problem. And like I said, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need a gym membership. You don't have to overhaul your whole life. It's just a few tiny things that you can do. And so you can just create, I like the book. Like I said, ton of recipes and ideas in there that are really good to give you these quick, immediate, rewarding actions that you can take. But once you kind of see the pattern of where he's going with these tiny actions of mind, body, and heart, then you can start looking at, first of all, you will be more in tune with those things. So you can start identifying, gosh, am I mad right now? Or maybe I'm hurt right now, or maybe I'm just lonely, or maybe I'm just tired. I've been sitting here all this time and my back is crunchy and I just need to get up and go for a walk. And you build this scaffolding of tiny little wins around your life. Once you see what he's doing and how he's creating these health snacks, you can start inventing some of your own. You can start your own breathing exercises. You can start, I used to have cats, and so I used to have this routine that I would play with my cats whenever I was kind of getting emotionally, stressed out, that kind of thing, because they were fun and they were awfully nice. No matter what it is, these morning, evening, afternoon, they work at your time. You'll figure out when it is I need to take a health snack. You'll be able to start to figure out exactly what it is you want to do during your health snacks. And you will be able to then incorporate this into your life. I think looking at this book as a starting platform of where you can now invent your own system is going to help you do a lot better. And like I said, you got to figure out for yourself. Do you have afternoon slumps? Or I have morning slumps. I'm just not a morning person. When do you hurt? When you've been sitting too long or sitting at your desk too long or all stressed up too long? What's something that instantly soothes you, relaxes you? What do you do that could lift you up emotionally for under just a few minutes? So I think if you can start figuring out your own patterns during the day, if you could come up with like maybe 5 mind snacks, 5 body snacks, and 5 heart snacks, you will be able to start this pattern itself. And like I said, reading the book goes on sale frequently. It's not an expensive book, but it's a good food for thought about what kinds of things could you start doing. And it's a launching point for you. It's a launching point for you to be able to start doing your own thing. Think about this. You could, like I said, just go for a walk around your block and see if you can notice 5 things that you never saw before. Or walk around the block and see if you can't count to 10 with the numbers. Okay, there's 1 there at the 123 Main Street address. There's a 2, just like fun things to kind of get your brain engaged in something else. That's an idea. Again, come up with a quick list of exercises that you might do or stretches if you have stretches. Like I said, I have a hip that gets very, very tight. And so for just 60 seconds, I have a strap that I can do this one particular stretch, and it stretches out my hip every single time. So I do it a number of times a day so that my hip never gets too cranky with me. Then, like I said, this is a chance for you to just kind of figure out what feeds your body, what feeds your heart, and what feeds your mind, and then gives you a quick reset. Think of some up and down your own life that you could do. I was thinking some people said that they like to go up and down the stairs. It's funny, I've never thought about that, but they just sort of look like 10 flights of stairs up and down, 10 times, so that it'll help keep kind of their body going. I've been doing something called Tabatas, and so I've been trying to, every time I need to get a little bit of exercise, I go upstairs and do a quick Tabata, which I believe is like 20 seconds on of a high impact exercise, 20 seconds of low impact, and then 20 seconds on again. And you do this for about 4 minutes. You can also, there are different patterns of Tabatas. I know that people have done it 2 minutes. So 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off, 2 minutes on. But, a quick high impact exercise routine for 4 minutes. These are going to help you out. And I think that like I said, if you can kind of look these as mood boosters, health boosters or heart boosters, you will be in good shape whenever you get into these situations. And like I said, the more times you do it, you will feel better on a day-to-day basis. All right, everyone, thanks so much. Appreciate you watching and listening, whether you're getting this through a podcast or you're getting this through YouTube. Put a comment in the chat channel if you're watching it on video, or make sure that you email me at jill@startwithsmallsteps.com. Either way, do you have health snacks that you take that will help you, just like I said, ease your mind, your body, or your heart when you just sort of need a quick break? Thanks so much and have a great day.